So welcome to Yin. I might use my props a little bit more in this session. I'll cue without because everything can be done without, but you might see me use my props a little bit more tonight. So find a comfortable seated position. And we'll start off tonight in butterfly pose. So that's the bottoms of the feet together like a book. You can use blocks, but if you don't have blocks at home, usually the last two Harry Potter books make great substitutions. So find yourself sitting up nice and tall. And let's just start off with a few breaths, okay? Just taking the inhale in through the nose and out through the nose, and just noticing the temperature of the breath. Notice how the breath moves in through the nose and maybe down through the lungs, how it expands and then leaves. And then taking your right fingers and placing them on your sternum. Maybe do like 2 fingers below the collarbone and then in the sternum area. And then set a pace for your tapping. So if you're looking for something a little slower pace, maybe you keep it slow. But, be curious if tapping a little faster helps too. Try that rate. So focus on your breath and find your rhythm. And we'll be here for about 5 minutes. You're about halfway there, so if you want to, you can keep the tapping or you can release it for the next 2.5 minutes. And then if you're tapping, slowly release and just find some stillness in your butterfly pose. Beautiful. All right. Keep your right knee hugged in or bent, and then extend your left leg long. And if you're thinking like a clock, maybe have your left leg out somewhere in between 10 and 11. So in half butterfly here. If you want, you can point the left toes directly out or up, but have some kind of flexion or dorsiflexion or plantar flexion in the foot just to keep it activated, okay? So it's not just hanging there. All right. Reach your arms up high. And then fold forward down the middle for half butterfly pose. Suss around here, okay? You'll be here for 5 minutes and I'll cue you at a halfway point, but try to find a spot where you can be still. About 5 more seconds. And then settle into your breath. Halfway there. So this is a great time to do an assessment. Are you holding tension? Maybe in the jaw? Are you leaning to one side over the other? See if you can go a little deeper. entering into this last minute, see if you can take long inhales and even longer exhales. Use your inhale to bring yourself up. And then when you reach the top, slowly exhale out. Bring the bottoms of the feet together onto the mat and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Some of us are going to take our feet wide. Some of us will be pretty pleased with just hips distance apart. So there's no right or wrong. And then slowly keep your left leg bent in. Extend your right leg out. So it's somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock. Maybe bring your hands behind, lift and tilt your pelvis so your sit bones are rooted down. Make a choice if you want to dorsiflex or bring the toes back, or plantar flex and point the toes. Reach your arms up, full inhale, keeping the sit bones rooted and grounded down. Fold forward. Use these next 10 seconds to find where you need to be in this pose. And settle in. Here's your halfway point. you are entering the last 30 seconds of this pose. When your next inhale happens, use that to slowly bring yourself up. So keep inhaling until you make it all the way up to the top, and exhale everything out. And then same thing, plant your feet, knees up, hands behind you, and then windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then pause, extend both legs long in front of you. You'll come into your caterpillar pose or your forward fold. So you can do it without anything underneath your knees. I'm going to place a bolster underneath my knees. And then, you know what, I'll use a strap too to put around my feet, just as a reminder to keep them up. But holding on to the strap, I'm not going to hold on for dear life. Just keep it nice and loose. So, come up nice and tall. And then when you're ready, fold forward. If you don't have a bolster underneath you, but you want something for your feet, you can always place a block too at your feet. Suss around here. You'll be here for the next 5 minutes. And maybe as you exhale, try to bring the crown of the head a little bit closer to the feet. So you're creating length. We're at about a halfway point. So maybe see if you can root down into the sit bones. Maybe fold a little deeper. You're entering in the last few seconds of this pose. So be mindful of the cycle of breath you are taking. And bring yourself up as you inhale. Slowly make your way onto your stomach, coming long in a prone position. Move around a little bit here so that your hip points are even onto the mat. And bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Have the tops of your feet flat. And bring yourself up for a Sphinx pose. You'll be here for 2 minutes. So if at any point this is too much, you can always bring a bolster or a pillow. Bring your arms on top. Make sure you keep your glutes relaxed. You are entering into your final minute. Maybe see if you can have a deeper connection with the forearms onto the mat. And then as you complete your next cycle of breath, slowly bring yourself down. Bring the taps of the hands, or stack the hands and place the forehead onto the mat and turn your heels in so you're in your crocodile pose. And you'll be here just for 30 seconds. We're going to use this as a transition point. And then bring both legs long behind you, tops of the feet are onto the mat. Bring the knee at hip height. Pick your right knee and put it at your right hip height. So if you were coming down the side body and you got to the hip, you would make an L shape, and there your knee would be. And then another turn down the knee to get to the ankle, and then turn your foot out. So it's like you have a series of L's as you go down. So you're in your half frog pose. And if you have a bolster, you can always put it underneath your torso, long, lengthwise, if you would light. And then rest your chin on stacked palms or forehead on stacked palms. Try to keep your right foot flexed. And I know your left leg is long behind you, but try to have your toes spread or something just to keep your left leg activated so it doesn't roll out. All right, and you will be here for the next 5 minutes. So maybe focus on your breath and feel how your body is moving against the mat. You're about halfway there. You have about a minute left here. Entering in the last 10 seconds. And then slowly bring your right leg directly behind you. Taps of the feet are onto the mat. Elbows come underneath the shoulders. Forearms push into the mat. Come up into your Sphinx pose again. And being mindful that you find the height that serves you. And you'll be here for the next 2 minutes. So if you need to bolster anything, go for it. But while you're here, make sure that you don't start sinking down and bringing the shoulders up to the ears. Try to push the heart forward here. Keep the glutes relaxed. Keep the gaze soft. "15 seconds left. And then slowly release. Stack your hands, but maybe switch your stack so it might feel a little weird. And then switching sides, bring the left knee up to the left hip height. And then turn your left foot so then your left toes are out. So you have the opposite L shape going down. For half frog pose for the next 5 minutes. Halfway through this pose, don't make any adjustments that you need. Maybe do a quick body scan to see if you're holding tension anywhere. Maybe return back to the pace of breath that you set instead of letting it be in a natural rhythm. entering the last 30 seconds. Slowly bring your left leg long behind you. Zip the legs together and allow the heels to touch. Forehead comes back on stacked hands for a crocodile pose for the next 2 minutes. 30 seconds left. And then slowly have the tops of the feet touch your mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders. And then bring yourself up so that you're on your heels. You're sitting on your heels and you're sitting up nice and tall. For rock pose, if you want a little more in the feet, you can always tuck under the toes and come into a toe squat here. So what do you need? And you'll be here for a minute. We're just using this as a transition, just to sit up nice and tall. See how gravity adjusts everything out. And then slowly bring your bum to one side, bring your heels out to the other. And then have your right leg on the bottom, left leg crosses on top like a fire log. Stay here, this is great. Or if you want something a little more deeper in the hips, or you have the flexibility in the hips, either or, you can stack your left knee on top of your right knee. So you're in shoelace. I think today I'm going to be in fire log. So I'm making sure I'm in fire log, so I'm going to take my top foot over my knee. I'm going to keep both feet activated and engaged. And then if you would like, you can have your hands on your legs. And we'll sit up tall here for 2 minutes. And really be focused on keeping a nice straight spine, crown of the head reaches up. And then in the next 10 seconds, I want you to just feel what's going on in your hips. I'm going to ask you to fold forward. So if you need to be gentle, maybe bring your legs in a little bit closer. If you want something deeper, maybe move your legs out a little bit away. Okay? So find what you need. Come up nice and tall. And then slowly start folding over. And you'll be here for 4 minutes. And use any props that you need. Bring yourself up. But try to be mindful that you're not just dumping into the fold, that you're keeping some kind of activation so that your sit bones are rooted down into the mat. And that your forearms and hands are engaged into the ground. You're about halfway through this pose. Use this next 30 seconds to take a full inhale, an even longer exhale. And walk yourself up as you inhale. Keep the inhale going as you come up. And then when you get to a point where you're sitting up nice and tall, slowly exhale out. Okay, the bottom leg, your right leg will still be bent. But then take your left leg, slowly start externally rotating at the hip. And bring the left thigh to about where the right foot is at. Plus around here. If you have a bolster, you can have the bolster come up to your right hip. If not, that's fine. I'm showing bolster today or props today. Reach your arms up as you inhale. And then slowly start rotating over to your right side. Set your hands down. And come over your bolster or over to the right side as far as comfortable for you for deer pose for the next 5 minutes. Halfway there. Maybe see if you can walk just a smidge more over to the right side. Last 10 seconds. Use your inhale to walk yourself up and keep inhaling until you get to the top. Bring both feet flat onto the mat. Windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And then slowly find yourself back into a shoelace pose. But you can start off in fire log. Stay here. Or slowly slide the right knee on top of the left. Okay? So figure out what you need, where you need to be. You'll be here for the next 2 minutes. So find a grounding point, maybe on your ankles or knee. Come up nice and tall. Have some length as you inhale. Dust around a little bit. And then slowly start folding forward for the next 4 minutes. Halfway there. Use your inhale to push yourself up. Keep inhaling as you come up. And then be tall as you exhale. Awesome. From here, keep your left leg bent and then actually rotate your right hip. And then have your left foot touch your right thigh. If you have a bolster, you can take it over towards your left hip. Come up nice and tall, bring your arms up high, and then rotate over and fold over your left side. Once again, you can come all the way down onto your bolster and stay up tall. And you'll be here for the next 5 minutes. So suss around, but then find some stillness about now. Halfway there. And use your inhale to bring yourself up. Keep inhaling as you bring yourself up. And then once you get to the top, come up nice and tall. Exhale out. Cool. All right. From here, bring your feet flat onto the mat and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Cool. And then you're good, but I'm going to turn around for the sake of this. Feet are flat, knees are up. Slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. And then once you get there, suss around a little bit so the shoulders are dropped down and away from the ears. Feet are flat. And then windshield wiper your knees from side to side here. So allow them to drop off to the right side maybe. Inhale up and over to the left side. And some of us, our windshield wipers are going to be nice and slow. Maybe it's a nice drizzle. And others of us are going to have a quicker pace because we're in a stormier weather. Cool. And then finish whatever side you're on. Meet with the feet flat, knees up. And then from here, you're going to do an inversion. So keep your gaze up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to cue you eventually into snail pose, but you don't have to go there, okay? And snail pose is plow pose. So have your arms down to the side, low back is engaged, and then lift your legs up. Cool here. If you are good here, stay here. Low back is engaged, you're good. If you want any props, you can go there with props. But if you want to, slowly start lifting your hips up towards the sky and place your hands about where the bra line would be. No, that's a lie. Lower than that, sorry. Maybe like where your kidneys are. So your fingertips are touching the top of your hips. Your heels are about at T12, so about at the 12th rib line. And you're lifting your legs up. So you would be in a shoulder stand. And then, if it's available to you, start reaching the toes over the head towards the ground, finding a plow pose. And hands can stay at the back to support the back, or you can bring your arms long and clasp the fingers. But no matter where you're at in your inversion, from legs up to shoulder stand to plow or snail, keep your gaze up. And then if you're in plow pose,
Slowly make your way into your shoulder stand. And then tuck knees into the chest or the eyeball area as you slowly extend down. If you have legs up against the wall, slowly start bringing yourself down and settle into your final pose of Shavasana. And I'm going to mind the time for you. So if you need to, go ahead, extend your legs long, give yourself a nice full body stretch. Prop anything you need, maybe pillows underneath the legs. Maybe you have a blanket you're going to wrap yourself up in. Focus the next 5 breaths, taking inhales in through the nose and out through the nose. And then allow your breath to fall into a natural rhythm. All right, sweet yogis. Take a full inhale in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Maybe take another full inhale in. Sigh it out. Stay here. You don't have to move. You can stay. But if you want, slowly make your way onto your right side into a fetal position. Use your left hand to push yourself down and come on up into a seated pose. And meet with your hands in heart center. Maybe have your thumbs on your sternum and come up nice and tall. Take a few cycles of breath here. And then give a soft bow. I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in you. Namaste.